Hey, everybody. Welcome to Versus. I believe it's episode 39. And we're getting close to 40. I'm John Moore, and that's Will Cohen. Will, um, we've hit a milestone. Uh, Throughout John Versus and Versus now, we have covered every Jagged Edge movie that has been released, minus the Winnie the Pooh verse movies, which I feel, and I say this with all sincerity, might be too good for us to cover on this show. But how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm drinking.
All right.
I'm drinking kind of hard here. Honestly, this film pissed me off so much, I almost didn't bother putting on the blazer because this film does not deserve blazer respect. But out of respect for you and the fact that you had to watch this, I blazered up for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But Jesus Christ, John, what the fuck was this?
I feel like sometimes studios just don't learn from mistakes. They think their mistakes are not mistakes, and then they make those mistakes worse in later movies. Will and I did cover a movie called Monster NATO, and this is basically the same movie with just one monster, though. This is Tsunami Sharks.
Growing concerns of depleted sea levels have caused fear of a potential tsunami. Our sources say if a tsunami were to hit, it would cause catastrophic flooding in the city. The speculation has caused heightened fear.
Oh my god.
Guys, what the hell is that?
Gold. We need to get to higher ground.
We'll be fine.
There's a shark in the water.
For those in the city able to listen, please get to a roof or out in the open safely.
It's Let's just rip the band-aid off. This is the laziest fucking movie I think I've ever seen. It is fucking lazy.
Okay, so a peek behind the curtain, if you will. When John and I were talking about this, we knew that we had essentially one film left, and so John, before we parted ways for the night, showed me the trailer for this. I was laughing my ass off the entire time. Now that I've seen all those scenes, and just remembering the context of all of that, I'm not laughing anymore because the filmmakers are the joke this time. Okay, guys, this movie was made in 2024. Had you told me that the graphics of this were rendered on a GameCube 20 years ago, after that GameCube had sat out on in a rainstorm for 3 days, that'd be more believable than this being made in 2024.
Yeah,
These graphics are terrible.
I'm not downing on the movie I'm about to say, because I'm not saying that the movie I'm about to say and this movie are in the same level. They're not. I watched Gothica yesterday for the first time, and there was really bad fire CGI in Gothica, but that has the excuse of coming out around the time you're talking about, when we were still just figuring it out. We are way beyond that. Like, you can get a really good CGI on the cheap, and not to mention, the Jagged Edge ITN crew has put out several movies that are just like this. They are just like it. Like, not to mention, it is the same exact plot as Monster NATO. Like Monsternado is like Sharknado with monsters in it, and it causes the water levels to rise, and there's sharks among other monsters in the water. This is just sharks.
But somehow the CGI in Monsternado was
A
better.
little better. Yeah, a little better. Because they had other things. Like they had like spiders and trolls and like all kinds of weird shit. And pterodactyls.
But at least that was laughably bad. This is like, it's really bad that Coco Melon has better graphics than you.
Yeah.
How is that possible, guys?
I'm going to go right from the jump. The cold open, which has nothing to do with any of the other characters, though we do come back to the one character that survives the cold open for like 5 seconds later in the movie. It's so, the choices are weird. There's a girl wearing a birthday girl sash, and I guess she's in an Uber, right? Now, we are at the point that the tsunami has already hit, though we will see the tsunami actually hit later. We're after the tsunami when the movie starts. And inside the car, where her and the driver are already injured from the car being tossed around in the tsunami, they're just cut. The shitty makeup. Like the water level when you're sitting inside the car, you could see out the passenger window is like at the bottom of the window. Whenever they cut outside the car is totally submerged in water and sharks are ramming into the side of it. Then you go back into the car and the water's here. Then you go outside the car and the water is here. Like, how do you fuck up in the first 15 seconds of a movie that bad?
You know, you ranted and raved about spiders on a plane, like being just terrible, the terrible CGI and all of this. I bet you're praying that we watch that again, because
the plane is like it's like the lawnmower land level, like, great, revolutionary at this point compared to this. Yes.
Yeah, you're right. This is hands down like lazy, but it's lazy in such a way that's like this is like lazy to the degree of having a group project at school, being promised pizza and beer, and by the time you get there to hammer out the assignment, turns out you don't get the pizza and beer, but you're still there to do the assignment. So obviously you're just going to hammer out that assignment and say, fuck you, I'm going to go get some pizza and beer.
Yeah.
That feels like how they made this film. It's like, okay, we promise. Like they sent everyone a Polaroid of the mountain of Coke that they were promised. Go here. Everyone gets to partake in this Scarface level of Coke. And then when they get there, there's no Coke.
But they do the movie anyway.
And then just fade off into the distance.
Just like, again, not that I'm a scientist. I am not a climate psychologist. I'm not a climate scientist or anything of that nature. But there are characters near the water. There are characters in the suburbs. The water levels are the same. That would not happen. Like, and also, like, they introduce things in the movie. Like they introduce like really smart things, like, oh, the sharks follow a pattern, and we could just, as long as we predict what. But then they don't follow those rules. And also they give the characters like backstory that means dick. Like the dad died, and they mention that like 80 times, but like you don't see it happen. It's like, but these characters have a dead father.
4 months without Kurt have been hell on this family.
I miss Dad too.
Like, oh shit. It's like somebody left them a note. Like somebody left the directors a note. Like, these are some things we want to work into the movie. And like, check, got it, nailed it. Check, nailed it. It's all in the movie. It's not done well. It's just in the movie.
like the only thing I can think of that like why that would matter at all is because like the female character, I can't remember her name because it's not worth remembering, but
I'll look it up.
she's been skipping school.
Do you know that Fiona's been skipping school?
What?
2 months. 2 months.
And acting
Fiona.
out. What?
Fiona, Lauren
Fiona.
Stark, who's in every movie. Yeah, Fiona, yes.
Yeah. So, yeah. And so it's like, and the mom cries a lot. It's like,
Yes. The mom, whose name is, I'll get that in a second. Keep talking about it. Oh, Marcy. The mom is Marcy. And the brother is Freddie. And let me tell you something. To jump around a little bit, Freddie works as like a sous chef in, I guess, a hotel in some building that has a kitchen.
right.
And he has a boss, and the boss's name is Earl. And he has a coworker, and the coworker's name is Logan. And Logan fucking hates Freddie. Oh my! Like this is like the one shining point of the movie. Like Logan is an Asian man who apparently like brings whores back into the kitchen and has sex with them.
Okay, Logan, you want the truth? I'll tell you the truth. I treat you the way that you treat this restaurant. I lost all respect for you the minute you started bringing girls in here in the middle of the night doing God knows what.
Because he's accused of doing that by Earl. But Freddie shows up late to work, and like Logan wants to kill him because his dad died, and he has no sympathy for Freddie's dad being dead.
I'm coming with solutions, and you listen to that daddy over there. Logan, that's enough. I lost my dad too, you know?
Logan just sharpens knives. Logan brings guns to work. Like, he is the greatest. He's probably one of the greatest like written on paper characters I've ever seen in the Jagged Edge movie. If only they did anything with him.
Well, that's the point. It's like they build it up to like the point where something could get interesting, something could mean something, and then they just forget everything about it. It's like half of this film just like the script just feels 100% incomplete.
Yeah,
and
it's like they lost half. Like they were walking with the script, and like a wind blew, and like blew half, and they were chasing the pages. And they just grabbed
because they wrote everything on typewriter, or in this case maybe crayon. All of it is just lost to the ether. So they just like, okay, now we're just going to start making stuff up.
Yeah. I'll talk about what a badass Logan is. Logan has a gun. Logan brings guns to work because he's a piece of fuck around. And he's like, I'm going to shoot these fucking sharks. Because like the sharks have gotten into the kitchen, right? And he jumps in the water and he's got a gun. He never uses the gun, right? He never shoots a shark. He just jumps in the water, stands still so the sharks don't know he's there, and then jumps back up on the counter again. Then he jumps from the counter onto the top of an oven. And again, if you're a physicist and you're a fan of the show, we need your help. A shark jumps out of the water and bumps the oven, which simultaneously causes the oven to turn on and causes a hole to appear in the top of the oven, which Logan falls into. And then he is cooked in the oven in the absolute like shittiest Lord of Illusions CGI you've ever fucking seen. And I'll put that right here.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about that scene because that is like my favorite scene in the movie. Everything else is hot garbage. The daughter, Fiona and her friends, I don't know the occasion. Is it somebody's birthday or is it just like, hey,
it's Fiona's birthday?
It's Fiona's birthday. Okay, it's somebody's birthday.
Hey, I've got something for you actually. What is it? It's a gift. It's not my birthday.
They're in a hotel lobby, which is like where everybody wants to go. Is one of the girls like dating the bartender or something? Like there's a bar, like one of the girls is like with the bartender.
Okay.
Isn't he great?
It's great this week, but who's on the menu for next week?
Ew, we've got some jealous Janes in the room. So, are we gonna do Zoe's gifts before or after we drink a shit ton?
And then the water hits the front door of the hotel, and now everyone in there is fucked.
Guys, this is industrial grade glass. We'll be fine.
And we just keep cutting back to these girls. The one friend, like the one girl who played, I think, the one who's passed on the couch. I don't know if that's Olivia or somebody else or Stephanie. I don't know, one or the other. One of the girls is just passed on the couch. She had the easiest job of the weekend when they were making this movie because 9 out of the 10 scenes she's in, she's asleep on the couch.
For your phone, check your phone. Hours are soaked and they won't turn on.
So
Right.
yeah, her Coke paycheck was well earned. Though at the end of the movie, she like hulks up and she can like walk around.
Joyce, we're not chicken.
Now,
And yeah, talk about how shitty this friend group is. Well,
it's the why is it? But do these Jagged Edge ITN people just assume that if you have like 4 or more female friends, all of them just have to act shitty towards each other?
right?
Like it has to be an unwritten rule. It's like, okay, if you have 2 females on screen, they can be friends. 3, okay, but one of them is an alcoholic. 4 or more, 3 of them hate the other, the 4th one.
Yeah.
Cheers.
It's like okay, everyone's just like, oh, it's so nice, and then then the birthday girl walks off and just immediately stop talking shit about her. It's like, okay, did you guys watch the same John Mulaney thing I did, where it's like Ocean's 11 could never work, where it's all women because 10 of them would go, because 3 of them would sneak off and talk shit about the other 8. It's like, did you guys just take that to heart and assume that was true? It's like.
And the one friend who's like a total bitch, like they're in a life where I never understand, and this is every Jagged Edge movie. Like it's never like a true slasher where like, there's a killer and like maybe people know or don't know what's going on. It's always like some like animal or supernatural force, and everyone's fully aware of the situation they're in. Like everyone here is fully aware that the water levels are rising. There's sharks in the fucking water. Like literally your only job is to get to higher ground. But like every time there's always one character that makes the decision, like, today's the day I'm going to be the biggest cunt I've ever been. Today is the day I've decided, like, if I may not have much longer to live, I may have only moments left, but I want everyone to know when they eulogize me, what a fucking cunt I am.
What are you doing? I'm not gonna die tonight. Get off of her. Come back. Fucking psycho, get off of her!
And look for that moment in every Jagged Edge movie because it happens.
It's like this bitch just wakes up. It's like, it's not even that she wakes up and chooses violence. It's that she like wakes up and immediately goes to like a petrol station, gets the can, gets some matches, and just tries to literally burn every bridge out there. And it's like,
well, the girl that wakes up is actually not the bitchy one. It's the one. It's the one who's like very well endowed in the chest area. That's the bitchy one. And then she has like that moment of clarity right then, and it's so fucking. And nobody would do this. Nobody would do this. Like she's like, all of a sudden, like they're running. The stairs are right there. They're all going for the stairs. They all can make the stairs because they've all figured out the sharks swim in a pattern. They just have to go in that direction. This girl stops. Right? She stops. It's like, I just want everyone to know that I'm sorry. It's like, what the fuck did you stop and you're dead?
I'm so sorry. I just wanted to survive.
It's so stupid. Yeah, and then like, the other girl who was like fucked up wakes up and then like she sacrifices herself. So she slept, for 70 minutes of the 72-minute movie only to wake up and just kill herself.
Come here! I'm gonna haunt you, bitch! Come and get me! Come and get me!
why not?
The brother makes it to the roof, even though he's heard the announcement that helicopters will save you if you're on a roof. But he decides to make an SOS sign anyway.
Right.
And then for some reason, the brother and sister, Freddie and Fiona, have shitty like Fisher Price walkie-talkies that they always have on them.
Okay. When the shark isn't looking, you can avoid it. It only gets you when you move.
Right.
Why?
Yeah. Somehow that's not even the dumbest thing I kept thinking about. The dumbest thing I kept thinking about is sharks swimming up the stairs.
Yeah. Like the water level never, like for 80% of the movie, even though you're told the water level's rising, the water level's rising, the water level never rises. It's always the same fucking level. Then for the last 5 minutes of the movie, it's like the dam scene from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Nintendo game. Everything is submerged. Like all of a sudden, like you can't get up fast enough. And we kind of buried a whole part of the story because we were also cutting back to the house where the mom lives because we need to know what's going on with mom. And
Sure.
Mom has a boyfriend, I guess. I don't know what the dude is. I don't know if he's her boyfriend. He's definitely not the dad because the dad is dead. It's just some dude that shows up to the house. And they have the same problem. Like the water level, even though they're in the suburbs, nowhere near the city, is rising. Blasts in the kitchen. The guy gets his leg. It looks like his leg gets bitten off. And there are scenes where it clearly looks like his leg is missing, but then his leg is back.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
There's the mom on top of a like car that's like 95% submerged. She's on top of this car and like Happy Gilmoreing these fucking sharks into submission.
But let me explain something to you about that. They're inside the car, right? And they get the radio to work and they learn about shit. And then a shark breaks in the window and like eats the guy. But somehow while the shark is eating the guy, she gets on top of the car. And she doesn't have a golf club, I don't think. It's just when we cut back to her, somehow from the roof of the car, where she has access to fucking nothing, she has a golf club. Like it falls from the sky, I guess, and she has a golf club in her hand. Like, they didn't even give a shit to explain that.
Well, they clearly didn't give her shit to film additional scenes because the first scene where you see her clubbing the shit out of the shark is also copy and pasted as the second scene. She's clubbing the shit out of a shark. Beat for beat, swing by swing, falls and screams the exact same way. They're copy and pasting scenes from the same movie.
Do we ever get resolution with the mom?
The mom's in the hospital.
Oh, at the end, yeah, she wakes up. We don't know how the mom got to the hospital. We know the daughter makes it to the roof of the building. The son makes it to the roof of the building. The mom makes it to the roof of a car, where we've seen every other character that makes it to the roof of a car. The sharks just jump and eat you. They don't do that to her, and she makes it to the hospital
because she's clubbing the shit out of out of them.
And this movie ends nicely, but it just ends. It gives you the classic jagged edge ending, but at least it's not like, and here's the bad guys again. At least they kind of...
at least it doesn't set itself up for, Tsunami Sharks 2, thank God.
Yeah.
I think maybe because they finally realized, oh, wait, we don't have to make films like this anymore because we got the Poohniverse coming.
We got that sweet, sweet Winnie the Pooh money coming in.
Which we're not going to give any other filmmaker.
Yeah, that's just for the Poohniverse. Peter Pan's Neverland Adventure, whatever, coming out this week. We're not covering it on this show, but just know it is. Go support Jagged Edge. Now that they've turned the corner and decided to go legitimate, we're here to just make the history and let you know about the history of this fine movie studio. Anything we forgot to mention about this movie? Yeah, we are historians. Anything you forgot to mention about this movie?
So, if we're talking about hilarity, we did skip something where sharks keep trying to swim upstairs, as the girls like trying to reach the roof, and finally one other floor manages to get flooded, and a shark attacks her and bites her hand. And once again, like, she's struggling, like shark jaws would just remove that entire hand.
There's a character earlier in the movie that has a phone, and the shark bites her hand off. So so we know, like, you've established these sharks.
And somehow all she has is like what amounts to like a rash on her arm.
She's tough.
She still has her hand.
Yeah. Let's get to the ratings.
The fuck.
Anyway, very simply, Will, you go first.
Usually I reserve this rating only for films that are irredeemably bad because of content. But at some point you have to give a rating like this for lack of content. So I'm going 1.
All right.
Like I
hear you.
When we get films that came out the same year, like Spiders on a Plane, at least understood, okay, we don't have a budget beyond Coke and beer.
And this plane.
And this plane that we got off of Danish wholesale. But they still at least cared enough about the script to make it funny, to just run the gamut and turn it into a comedy. These guys had a hilarious premise and did nothing with it. It's just painful to watch. The graphics are like the laziest things I've ever seen, to the point like I said, Coco Melon has better graphics. I don't know. I still don't understand how that's even possible. And none of the actors are putting anything into their characters. Random things are just happening. It's just so stupid.
Yeah, let's stay strong. I'm leaving that 1 up there for myself too. That 1 is just for Gangster Logan and his fucking gun. Like, that's it. If I can give this movie 0 tapes, I would. But you did put the greatest character, probably one of the greatest Jagged Edge characters ever, and you burned him in a fucking oven. You fucking monsters. That'll do it for Versus. If you made this far in the video, like, comment, subscribe, and share. As always, I am going to plug the Why We Love Horror Letterbox Challenge. Go there, 52 weeks of, or do it at your own pace. I don't give a shit. Go there, make your movie list, do whatever you want. I'm not the police. Interact with us, how you're doing with that. Schedule here is always the same. Sunday, Why We Love Horror TV. Monday is Versus. You're watching it. Thursday, Why We Love Horror. We're covering Bird Eater this week. And Friday, Why We Love Horror Trivia. It's the Why We Love Horror Singles Championship. Dylan Van Dyne taking on Abby Brooks. Will, any last words for the people out there?
Just let's all stay alive in 2025, guys. Let's go.
We'll be back next week on Versus. We don't know exactly what we're doing. We have covered all the Jagged Edge movies, but the Jagged Edge family. There's so many other movie studios out there. And ITN Distribution, I see you. You're the root of the cancer. We're coming for you next week on Versus.